Hey everyone, Rami here, and today we'll be talking about the second part of conditional formatting. This includes the top-bottom rules, the data bars, the color scales, the icon sets, and then we'll wrap it up with the new rules, clearing rules, and managing the rules. So let's start with a number column like sales. And here we will look at the top-bottom rules. I can then highlight the top 10 items, and if I do this, it will highlight the top 10. I can change this to 5 to 20 to any number really, and I can also change the format. I'll click OK, and then you've got the number here. It's very similar with the bottom 10. So if I go on top bottom rules and then bottom 10 items, it will highlight the bottom 10 items. But for example, if I had the bottom 10 items here, it's very hard for me to find which one's which. So the easiest way to do this is to go on sort and filter, custom sort, and I can then do this, sort by sales, sort on cell color, and then you can select the highlighted cell color, and then I can click OK, and then all your bottom sales will be on the top here. So I'm going to undo to bring this back, and then I've got also the bottom 10%, which again will be looking for the 282 rows that are the bottom sales. Now with the data bars, what we can do with this is when I click on it, it will place a bar chart on top of your sales, and this will be relative to each other. So like this is high, it's because it's one of the highest in the data set, and this is low because it's one of the lowest in the data set. So it's basically a bar chart, but it's just more visible for you right on your data rather than separate. I can change the colors and styles of this, so solid fill, gradient fill, and so on. We've also got color scales, and with color scales, the general rule of thumb is that green is good and red is bad. So if I go green to red, then you can see the scales of colors. So the greener it is, the better it is, and the redder it becomes, the worse it is. Now we can also flip this around to make the red being the highest numbers and the green being the lowest. And this is like in terms of cost, maybe that you wanted a high number to be red and a green number to be bad, a low number to be green and a high number to be red. And this way we've got the green to be the low number and the red being the highest number. And then the remaining options are kind of variations of this that you can play around with. Now let me clear rules, so I can clear rules from the selected cells. We can also go and do icon sets. So I don't like doing icon sets directly from here because you don't really understand what the logic is. So if I said here, you wouldn't really understand what the down arrows are and what the side arrows are and so on. So let me just undo this, and then we can go to icon sets again and then more rules. And what this gives me is basically kind of a choice that I can start playing around with. So let's say I go on to the different icons. You can select whichever icon you like. So I'm going to keep it simple and select the X exclamation mark and tick. So when the value is, I want both of them to be numbers. So I'm going to assume this is like my targets. And I'm going to say when the value is above, let's say 3000, then I've hit my target. When it's less than 3000 and greater than or equal 2000, then we're below the target, but we're not that far. So I want it to be an exclamation mark. And then you can see here that now it's X when it's less than 2000. So now when I click OK, you can see here that it gives me that visual representation of what's hitting the target and what's not hitting the target. It gets a lot more advanced than that, but you just need to play around with the different options. Like we can start doing percentiles, we can start doing formulas and so on, but we'll leave that to a more advanced section of the course. Now, at the end, we've got the new rule. So new rule will kind of give you this new formatting, conditional formatting options, which you can start playing around with. These are a mixture of what we've done. So we can do the color scales, but you can start changing the colors depending on what you want. We can do the cell values between, not between, equal to, greater than, and so on to play around directly from here. And top, bottom, we can change them from here and doing the percentage or the number of items, formatting only values that are above equal to or below. If you want to go more data scientific, we can go standard deviations, and we can do the unique or duplicate. So before we only had the option of duplicate values, but here we can do the unique values to highlight. Obviously, with all of these, you would need to go onto the preview and on the formatting, and kind of do the format that you would like for them. So I can do here the bold, maybe orange color, and then clicking OK will kind of give me this view. And now we've got all the unique numbers in that format. And then this one, for example, is a duplicate value that we have. That's why it was left. Now I can also clear all the rules in my sheet by saying clear rules from selected cells. It will clear this from the selected cells, not from the entire sheet. But if I were to wanted to clear everything from the entire sheet, I can just select clear rules from entire sheet, and that will clear everything for you. If I were to undo, just so that we can see the managed rules, so managed rules will basically have a list of all the conditions that you've applied, and you can delete, edit, or add new rules. This will only show you by default the current selection that you have. If you wanted to see the whole sheet, I can say this worksheet, and then that will show me everything in the worksheet regardless of what is selected. And that is all for today's lesson. Thanks you for watching, and next time we'll be talking about tables and how we can use that to our full advantage. Thanks everyone.